Well, you've probably heard it said, don't mess with Texas, but I'd like to say don't mess with Marines as well as Marines in Texas. A video shows a group of Marines beat up thugs outside an Austin, Texas nightclub. We have this and updates on the lawsuit from Elon Musk against Media Matters and so much more on the Gateway Pundit's Week in Review. My name is Elijah Schaffer, and I thought I would start today out with a quite interesting story. It turns out that you do not want to mess with Marines, especially Marines in Texas. The Gateway Pundit reports that a group of Marines beat up thugs outside an Austin, Texas nightclub. The story by Colin Linebarger. The footage shows plainclothes individuals confronting the Marines outside of the Voodoo Room nightclub in Austin. After words are exchanged, one of the men decides to take a wild swing at a Marine, which instigates an all-out brawl. The military men knock down the thug after he lands 3 shots on a Marine. While he's on the ground, he experiences the full might of these Marines as they rain multiple blows on him. Now, don't believe me. You're going to have to watch the video for yourself. It's absolutely hilarious. Check this out. Well, and I hope your day is going better than his. Clearly, they didn't understand that Marines are trained by the federal government exactly in conflict. So it's quite strange that they would try to take them on. I'm sick and tired of watching thugs around the country steal at will, take whatever they want, and pretend like there's no consequences. How about a few more of them get knocked out? That's what I'd like to see. We got to talk about this amazing lawsuit that's taking place. If you don't know about this, Elon Musk, Corp, previously known as Twitter, will file a Thermo-Nuclear multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Media Matters on Monday after catching them in major fraudulent activity. The story is from Jim Hoff. Elon Musk announced early Saturday morning that his company Corp will be filing a Thermo-Nuclear lawsuit against Media Matters. The second court opens on Monday. Elon added that he will sue their board, their donors, their network of dark money, and all of them. In his statement he released early morning, Elon accuses Media Matters of creating a fake account that then curated the posts, particularly of advertising, making it appear that the account's timeline to misinform advertisers about the placement of their posts. So if you want to know what actually happened here in a summary, basically Media Matters is a censorship arm of the globalist regime. It's George Soros funded. This is the, sort of international banking cartel globalists, and they find people online and they try to demonetize them. They had my channel demonetized on YouTube and censored. They come after Gateway Pundit's advertisers. Now, what they did is they ended up making fake accounts on Twitter, or aka X. They followed really sketchy accounts that are not large, liked a lot of their posts, engaged with them, to create an algorithm. Then they ended up liking and following certain key brands like Apple and NBC Universal and IBM, and then refreshed the pages hundreds of times until they got an ad for one of those companies under the post, a sketchy post, most often probably something a bit racist or discriminatory, not illegal though. And Twitter lost $100 million in advertisers. This is fraudulent activity, right? I mean, the whole point about this is this is not this is manipulation of algorithms to get an outcome. This is kind of like manipulating a roulette table. This is probably illegal, and we're hoping that it is because this is just getting maddening. Another story that just came out from the gatewaypundit.com, anti-Trump Laura Ingraham experiences MAGA movement's power firsthand in a video. Laura is personable, witty, attractive, and intelligent. She has good connections and has been in the Washington swamp for a long time. Laura is conservative and has her own highly successful show on Fox News, but she will never be number one. We saw glimpses of her greatness at various times. She was excellent early on in the coronavirus crisis when she was able to cut through the garbage and dig at the truth. She understood earlier that the others in the China coronavirus was not as bad as was being paraded at other cable news networks, but other times Laura is lost. She gave up on President Trump as soon as the 2020 election was stolen by the Biden regime, and she either didn't have the courage to stand up to Fox executives or she didn't have the wits to see what was happening. Now, we have an amazing example of what exactly happens when you see the full brunt of the Trump apparatus. Watch.
Who have a little bit of time to frankly get involved. We want to ask people who they want to be the next president of the United States, of the people who are possibilities, okay, who are out there, possibilities. Raise your hands if you're for Donald Trump. Very, very good. There's a few people who aren't in the front.
Few holdouts.
Few holdouts. You're not 100%. DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis. Oh.
There's a clap.
Two hands and a clap. 1, 2, okay. 3. Joseph Biden.
Oh, come on.
Well, it looks like things aren't working out so well for the DeSanctimonious crowd. Now, you may like DeSantis, but she does understand the MAGA movement isn't going anywhere, and it's about time people understand and realize that. Speaking of swamp Republicans that I wish would go away but seem to stick around like a nasty wart on a thumb, Liz Cheney particularly tried to shame conservatives with Overplayed January 6 video. Then Mike Lee asks the one question that she's terrified to answer. If former Wyoming Representative Liz Cheney, as conservative or as Republican as she claims, she sure has a funny way of showing it. The embattled ex-representative has become something of a persona non grata within the GOP, thanks to her incessant belittling of her own party. She is never going to embrace by Democrats en masse due to both the R and the last name it's next to. The latest and most exhausting example of Cheney's continued descent into being a woman without a political party came on Friday, when the former vice chair of the January 6th committee couldn't help but comment about the bombshell video dump spearheaded by the new Speaker of the House. Now, of course, she shared this video. There's no need for us to play it here. We've seen the violence. We know what happened on that day, and we've seen the setup and exactly what went on with entrapment. She said, "Here's some January 6th video for you," Cheney said in her X post, with the remark clearly suggesting that Johnson's bombshell revelation was more whimper than a bang. Many conservatives and Republicans and people who don't just blindly drink the Democrat Kool-Aid have often discussed the non-zero chance of something strange or amiss about the entire January 6th Capitol incursion. Now, we go down that her not-so-subtle jab was not missed by people. However, Lee said, "Liz, we've seen footage like that a million times. You made sure we saw that and nothing else. It's the other stuff, what you deliberately hid from us, that we find so upsetting. Nice try." And nice try. People know commonly I was there at the Capitol that day. I filmed Ray Epps instigating the violence. I have seen the violence firsthand, and some people were in that position. I do believe that they should be retried under false entrapment clauses, failure of security, intentional harboring of violence, and instigation. I don't condone the violence, but a lot of people who are prosecuted, the majority of them were not for violent crimes, and I stand with the January 6th victims who are continually are defeated in our hope to get a victory. Now, usually I do 5 stories in review of today, but I did want to leave you guys with an important note instead of the 5th story. We are heading into an election, especially here at the Gateway Pundit and on this show directly. Now, the show's every approximately Monday and Friday on the Gateway Pundit. I've been sick, so I missed some. We're going to try to really do our best to uncover all the election fraud that is sure to occur, the rigging that is probably already in place with the censorship industrial complex, and of course, try to avoid too much of the distractions of foreign interventions, fights, and try to stick with the information that's here at home. But we thank you so much for continuing to invest not only in this show, not only in our Rumble channel that you need to subscribe to, but also to the network as a whole and the publication. Your direct support and help and readership keeps this independent media and journalistic endeavor alive. We thank you so much. I really encourage you to leave a comment below of encouragement for the network, for Jim Hoff, for Joe Hoff, for those that have been working so diligently behind the scenes and the journalists. If you enjoy our work and the work that we do, please let us know, as we always enjoy your feedback. We read as many comments as we can, and we thank you for joining us in this fight against evil, against the far left, against the communists, the globalists, and the banking cartel. My name is Elijah Schaffer. This is the Gateway Pundits Week in Review. I'll see you next week, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.